Hey everybody, my name is Alex, and I'm joined by Pierre Gabbard, and this show is called Circling the Wagons. It's a web show dedicated to the Buffalo Bills, and we'll be discussing the recent game, the outcome of the game between the Packers, and basically the rest of the season and how we feel it's going to go. How's it going, Pierre?
What's going on, Alex? Yeah, man, I'm like my emotions are still going a bit nuts right now with the outcome
Yeah.
of this Packers game. So I'm ready to talk about it.
All right. I'll let you go. I'll let you start. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, first off, I want to say that the Packers is arguably the best team in the NFL. All right.
Absolutely.
So us winning this game was crucial because one, it shows that we're able to compete with the best of the best, and two, it keeps us in the playoff race still. So that's big. That's big. Now we do have some negatives, but as far as defense, we dominated 2 weeks in a row on defense. Last let's see here. Last week against the Broncos, two crucial penalties like changed the entire game. It changed how we were going to call the game. It changed how we were going to attack the Broncos offensively, but our defense still put us in position to win last week. I mean, to be honest with you, every week. So that is very, very exciting to me.
Absolutely. And I want to go
But
back
what do
to
you actually think about it?
Well, I wanted to go back to what you touched on the Broncos game. A lot of people basically said, the game was a blowout and we didn't have a chance. But I feel like you said, a couple penalties away. Maybe a third down stop, one way or the other, it would have been a different ball game. But like you said, our defense
I
has
agree.
definitely kept us in it, and I think it can carry us into the playoffs if we get there. Today showed that you don't have to do a lot on offense; you just need to do enough. And I think Kyle Orton managed the game well enough to keep us ahead. A huge punt return by Marcus Stigpen to give us the lead. And, our special teams was great. Mario Williams had a blocked field goal, and he got that safety at the end. And, I think that this team is probably one of the better ones we've seen in a while. I remember, I'm sure you're old enough to remember the four straight Super Bowls. I remember
Yes.
them vividly. And this is a different team. Last year, I would have thought up by 6 points with 2 minutes left. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers would have come down even with no timeouts. They would have found some way to score a
And
touchdown and win. So, when I saw Mario Williams strip the ball from Aaron Rodgers, I actually didn't know what was going on. I saw Rodgers standing in the pocket, and I didn't see the ball in the end zone. And then I saw Eddie Lacy coming around and grab it. I said, "Oh my God, what a game!" But
oh man,
I definitely think Jim Schwartz has his team heading in the right direction, and even the Browns game, 3 games in a row, the defense has stepped up and done their job. And
yeah, yeah.
if we can get the offense clicking a little better, I think we're going to be one of the harder teams to beat in the NFL.
That's a big if though, Alex, and it's been one of the biggest ifs all season. And we're what week 15 now, and we still haven't figured it out. So it just seems like is it ever going to actually get figured out? And I don't know. I really don't know because even if we do make the playoffs, which is still, a small possibility because we need a whole bunch of stuff to actually happen.
Right.
Will we actually, make any noise in the playoffs? Our defense will have something to say about that, but at the same time, with how our offense is playing right now, would we be able to win a Super Bowl? And the answer is no. It's not really just about making the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I understand you got to make the playoffs in order to have a chance to win the Super Bowl, but at the same time, right now, how we use our playmakers is a humongous problem, for me. You see the Packers using Randall Cobb in the backfield. Why isn't the Bills being just a little bit creative like that to actually put our best playmaker in better positions to make plays, or just get the ball in his hands by any means necessary? And as of right now, you're using Samuel Watkins, in my opinion, as a decoy. He's a decoy wide receiver. You're leaving him at the X and just saying, listen, if you're going to get double covered, that's all we need you to do. And they're not being, too creative enough. Now, yes, we won the game. I'm happy. I actually went crazy, during the game. So I am happy that we won the game. But as a diehard Bills fan, you always overanalyze every aspect of your team. And as of right now, our offense is our Achilles heel.
Yeah, I agree. And you brought up a couple of great points. I actually want to touch on them. Do you think Sammy is our actual best playmaker on the field?
Yes, hands down, number one. Now, do you actually? You might say it's either Robert Woods, or Fred Jackson maybe. But as far as where defenses focus on, yes, Sammy Watkins is, in my opinion, clear-cut our best playmaker on offense.
I agree. And, I think, in a way, using Watkins as the decoy does help elevate Robert Woods to another level. But at a certain point, as you said, we have to get Watkins more involved.
Have to.
Bubble screens to him does work, but teams can read a bubble screen all day. And there's only so much success you can have by throwing bubble screens every couple of plays. You know what I mean?
You're exactly right. But then at the same time, I'm saying at least have him in motion.
Right.
I remember watching the Giants game last week when they played out one to the Titans, where they were having Odell Beckham everywhere on the field. I mean, he was almost playing quarterback. I mean, They had him everywhere, and it just seems like we're just not creative, knowing that if the ball is able to get in his hands, great things can happen. Not good things, great things can happen. It's just we need to figure that out.
So now that leads me to my next question for your point with the offense struggling. Do you think that's more contributed to Hackett being more passive, or do you think it's Marrone overruling him and saying, we got to keep him healthy? My opinion is I think that it's a little combination of both. I think that Marrone and Hackett, even though they were on the same page as Syracuse, this is a completely different offense than you run in college. And I do believe Marrone has more talent on this roster than he ever did when he coached Syracuse. But I think that there's some kind of conflict going on between the two of them. And I think that maybe Hackett is the reason to blame, but Marrone's the head coach, and ultimately he's got the decisions to make. And I think that at a certain point, Marrone does need to take charge and say, what you're doing isn't getting the job done, and we need to go in a different direction. You can see that with the defense. When the defense starts allowing too much rush, we start getting a little bit more aggressive on the line. We send a few more pass rushers, or we drop people back into coverage if they're allowing too many passing yards, and it kind of controls it. But I feel like, I can't really put my finger on what the issue is, but I feel like at some point Marrone and Hackett need to get on the same page.
Yes. Now, I'm kind of, conflicted when it comes down to the who's to blame. Of course, it's easy to say Hackett because he's the one who's allegedly, calling the plays. I say allegedly because I guess there was, reports or false reports out there, or I could be wrong. That Doug Marrone is actually the one who's calling the plays. I guess during the Chiefs game, people were saying that that Marrone was calling the game, but I just feel it's like you pointed out just a second ago. It has to fall on Marrone because He's the head coach. This offense is Marone's offense. Nate Hackett is just calling it for him.
Right.
So, because Marone was the OC in New Orleans, so he's taking that offense and bringing it here. And as of right now, I feel that Marone's head coaching style, I'm not a big fan of. I don't want to sit here and say that he's too conservative to the point where it hurts us. But then there's being conservative as a head coach doesn't necessarily mean going for it on fourth down. It's just really calling a game or having a game called to win a game, not calling a game not to lose it. And I just feel like he coaches scared, and I've always had a problem with that. Now, as far as getting the players in the right position to actually succeed, that has to fall on Doug Marrone, of course, but Nate Hackett and Kyle Lorton have to be on the same page, because I know you probably wanted to touch on this in a bit, but Kyle Lorton, to me, at the time, I wanted answers. People were saying, including myself at times, that it's EJ's fault. The offensive line is no good. Nate Hackett doesn't know how to, call an offense. But it could have been an easy excuse that our offense was not that good because we had a young quarterback. So I said, you know what? Let's actually see what would happen if we have Kyle Lorton there and see if that changes. But really, it didn't change anything. So as of right now, there's no reason, because the game plan, Alex, the game plan that was called today, EJ could have ran that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So with the possibility of eluding pressure, because if the pocket breaks down with Kyle Lorton, we all know it's a sack 100% of the time. So what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I think, though, I do believe that EJ sitting and watching this season is going to help him progress as a professional, and it may even help him become the future quarterback of the Bills. This was the plan that was in place last year with Kevin Kolb, and Kevin Kolb was Mr. Injury. But, I didn't agree with the signing of Kevin Kolb. I thought it was a smart idea to let EJ sit, but I didn't think Kevin Kolb was going to be the answer, and I don't think Kyle Lorton's the answer. I believe at this point in the season, opposing teams have gotten enough film on Kyle Lorton to know he's predictable. And you saw it on that one play where he hits, I don't remember who it was, he hit somebody for a 40-yard pass, and he stared him down the entire time. Once the ball was hiked, he just stared down that left sideline, and they knew exactly who he was throwing to. Luckily, he was wide open, but,
Luckily.
They say Orton's good at
it was Bryce Brown. Wasn't it Bryce Brown?
Yeah, it was Bryce Brown. That's right. You're right, Bryce Brown.
Yeah.
And, Orton's very good at calling audibles at the line, and he's very good at making quick decisions, but then there are flashes where he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly.
The same can be said for any quarterback that's getting constant pressure all day. It's not comfortable to be in the pocket. But, I feel, going back to the Marrone issue, I feel like Marrone does need to take this team by the reins and put his foot down. I know he's a New York guy, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, but he also seems a little bit laid back, a little bit Bill Belichick-ish, where
that's true.
He just kind of gives you watered-down answers, and he doesn't really provide you the insight that you would want to hear. Also, I was going to bring up last week, I don't know if you noticed, Jerry Hughes was benched the entire second half of the game, and Marrone said he had no idea. So
that's not good.
What does that tell you about the team? I like Marrone as a coach. I think it's refreshing to have somebody like Marrone he's passionate. He may not wear his arm on his sleeve like the rest of these guys out there, but that's not necessarily what you need. I like when we score touchdowns. We're not doing a dance or taunting the other team. It's just we celebrate a little bit, give the ball to the refs, and continue on about the game. Especially when we played the Browns and Johnny Manziel scored that touchdown and he gave the money sign. I wanted to punch him in the face through the TV. But
Oh man,
I think Marone.
I don't even want to hear about Johnny Manziel, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he showed the world he's not
You hear
NFL.
him. Exactly.
But I like the Marone signing. I'm with you. I don't know if it's necessarily something where it's Hackett calling the plays. If Marone is an offensive guy, he is the one calling the plays. But does that fall back to, you've got to be practicing every week and you got to be running plays you're struggling with. So does that fall on Marone? Does it fall on Orton? Does it fall on Hackett? The offensive line, who does it fall on? I think, to be quite honest, I think the offense is relying too much on the defense to win the game for us. And
I'm so happy you said that.
and I mean, it shows. Today I was watching NFL Countdown on ESPN this morning, and everybody said the Bills could win this game, but they've got to score 25 to 30 points because the Packers are just that good. And they scored 20.
I mean, the Packers are that good, but is like our defense played like
lights out. They played lights out. And I think that, in the playoffs, and everybody says defense wins championships. I agree with that to an extent. But at the same time, your defense can only take you so far.
Exactly.
And like you were saying, it's a great goal to make the playoffs. But it's better to make it to the Super Bowl. And, I'm not going to say I disagree with you that we wouldn't have the talent to make it far in the playoffs because there have been underrated teams. Look at the Giants back in, 2009? They went up against an undefeated Patriots team and surprised the world by winning the Super Bowl. To be honest, I think the Bills have a more talented roster than that Giants team. So
hands down,
it's not out of the realm of possibility. But we need a lot of help to make the playoffs.
I mean, the only thing I can probably say about that is that the Giants did catch on late. They made it. I believe that season they were 9-7, and they were getting hot at the right time. So Hopefully, this is what I'm hoping for. Hopefully next week against the Raiders, I know the Raiders are a pretty bad team, but if we can show some flashes on offense and gain some momentum going into New England, who knows? I mean, the Patriots, they'll be playing them Week 17. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, they already clinched the conference, so they'll probably rest all their players. Hopefully, but if not, who knows? We might be able to go in there with the momentum from the Raiders game and beat the Patriots. Who knows? But if we can get hot at the right time on offense, because on defense we're set.
Oh yeah.
We just need to figure out getting our playmakers in the right positions. Like, personally, that's all I'm asking for. Because right now we have a brand new tight end in Marquise Gray who looks like he's that athletic tight end that we've been looking for 2 to 3 years now. Oh. And we're not really using him. We have Marquise Goodwin, who is arguably the fastest man in the NFL, and we're not using him. It's not being fast doesn't necessarily mean I need you to run streaks all game. No, get him in space.
Right.
That's in Clemson, for example. He made plays when plays weren't even there to make. He was playing like Calvin Johnson in Clemson. Just give him a chance to make a play. Yes, he probably won't make all the plays, but it seems like whenever he's being doubled, if you watch the last 2 weeks, Kyle Orton doesn't even look his way. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to even try to even, mess with Sammy. Knowing that, I mean, it's just, I know I'm a bit biased, towards Sammy because I'm a huge fan, But we gave up a first and a fourth round pick for him. We have no first round pick this year. I feel that we need to run him until he throws up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
that's a good point that you brought up about Sammy. My only argument is college football, especially in the SEC, is a little bit different than it is in the NFL. But I feel that Sammy will become somebody like Calvin Johnson in time. You give him a couple years to, refine his game. He's a great route runner. He's a great playmaker. But if you let him get a little bit bigger, I think you let him bulk up a few pounds and work on the muscle mass. I think he's going to be better than Calvin Johnson. I think he'll be the best wide receiver in the NFL between him and Odell Beckham. That's like you said. That's me being biased because I'm a big Sammy fan. But
yeah.
I think that he's got the talent to take it all the way and be successful for many years to come.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, if we don't have a quarterback throwing him the ball,
Exactly.
he's going to just be an average wide receiver. I mean, because right now we're just telling him, listen, I need you at the X and just hope you get open, and I might throw you the ball. And it's not going to work out like that. But just going back to having the playmakers in the right positions, that has to fall on the person who's calling the plays. Because, for example, sometimes it seems like Nate Hackett doesn't attack the defense's weaknesses. Because, for example, if the Packers are causing a bunch of pressure like they were doing today, then we shouldn't really be calling long development plays. And then if you're needing to get a certain yardage, then we should be max protecting. And it just seems like I know I'm being a bit nitpickish. We did win the game, but this offense has to get fixed. And it's week 15, and as of right now, I'm just like, I don't know if it will. I mean, we might beat the Raiders. It does look good, the us beating the Raiders.
Right.
But we're not beating the Patriots playing like this on offense.
Oh.
I mean, we're just not. I mean, who knows?
Everyone.
Exactly. Because everyone, including myself, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't think that we were going to win today. I'm like, we're not beating the Packers. But we were able to. You know what I mean? But we were able to actually beat the Packers with our offense still being horrible. And that's what's shocking to me. So, yeah, it's like you said, who knows? You never know. Or a defense playing like this, you just never know.
And like I've been saying all year, this is a different Bills team than I've seen in a long time.
It is.
They have the heart. They want to win. And when they need to make a stand, they make it. They're a bend but not break defense, and that's what a lot of those analysts always say is, you want to bend but don't break, and that's what they've been doing.
Yep.
Especially today, they got the 2 picks on Rodgers. They got the blocked field goal. They got the safety. They held, they held Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers without any touchdowns and 2 interceptions consecutive weeks. So maybe Tom Brady should be.
That's awesome.
But
yeah, that's awesome.
But then it also leads me to your question, to your statement about quarterback. Do you think EJ is the future? Do you think he's got a shot to take us all the way?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I do not know. I just don't know, because right now, I would like to actually see him on the field just so I can, gauge it a bit more to see, what's going to happen in the future. But as of right now, we can't go into next year with Kyle Lorton and EJ Manuel, or just Kyle Lorton and EJ Manuel, because as of right now, it will be the same, offense we had this year. But do I want EJ? Of course. I'm a huge fan of EJ, and I love what he said after he got benched. Even though It was probably something that maybe he was supposed to say, or he was just talking out of his ass. But I do love the fact that he said, the next time I have an opportunity, I'm going to let it rip. I'm not going to play scared. I feel that our coaching staff coaches not to lose.
Right.
And
Not to win,
they
but not to lose.
they had to have coached EJ Manuel. Just play it safe, do the check down, don't lose us the game. And EJ said, listen, playing that way got me benched. So if I have the opportunity again, I'm letting it rip. I'm going all out. I'm going to play like Florida State EJ Manuel.
Absolutely.
And hey, and if he plays like that, then who knows? Who knows? Because the thing that I hate about a lot of coaching staffs, like for example, not saying that I hate, or not hate because hate's a pretty hard word, but Jim Harbaugh in San Fran, we got Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan when they were coaching the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
We got Jay Gruden now in the Redskins trying to change the quarterback's strength. You see,
Absolutely.
not saying that EJ Manuel is only a read option quarterback or, RG3 or Colin Kaepernick, but why take that away from them when that's the reason why you got them in the first place? You didn't get, RG3 because he was a pocket passer. You didn't draft Colin Kaepernick in the second round because he was a pocket passer. You got him because they're athletic quarterbacks and they're able to make plays with their legs. Now, it seems like for the Bills, they just took that away from EJ. They said, you know what, just don't. I mean, on some of the read option plays, he could have kept it, but it's just like we need to use that more, And I don't know. It's just, they were coaching him to play scared, just like they coach, games not to lose. So I don't know, but I feel going forward, we need another quarterback because I'm just not sure about EJ because I haven't seen enough. 14 games, I can't really judge a quarterback. I know there's fans out there in our Bills Fanatics group that are just done with EJ. They're like, you know what, I'm done. I've seen enough. But 14 games, you can't really gauge that.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I agree with you. I was a big fan of the EJ draft. I thought for sure that Marone was going to grab Ryan Nassib because who better to draft than a quarterback you coached in college? And
I agree.
I'm relieved that he didn't. I don't think Nassib has the tenacity and the athleticism to carry a team the way EJ can. Like you said, 14 games isn't a very big sample size. It's a little bit harsh to give up on him so quick. And I do believe if he didn't get injured last year, we would have made the playoffs. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bills fan, but he brings a different element to the game that the AFC East has not seen. And I don't care what Geno Smith says, I don't care what Ryan Tannehill says, and I don't care what Tom Brady says. The Bills are a team that are very close right now to being competitive, and next year we're probably going to battle for the top of the AFC East.
See, nobody wants to play us right now.
Exactly, and
Nobody.
that could work in our favor in the playoffs if we make it that far.
I agree.
My other, do I think we need another quarterback? Yeah. I don't think the answer is, and I'm sure you've heard about it since we both live in the D.C. area, going out and getting RG3. I don't think he's the answer either.
Now, I do agree that he's possibly okay. Wait. I'm gonna say it like this: in this offensive scheme, no, he's not the answer. He's not. But if we were to get Art Briles from Baylor as the head coach, I would pounce on RG3 because one, he knows that offense, and two, they'll run the system that is geared towards RG3. Yes, people might say, you know what? Well, I mean, he's injury prone. Quarterbacks get injured, playing that system. Hey, that's why you have backups. I'd
Right.
rather use, you know what I mean? I'd rather use a quarterback to his strength than trying to teach him something that he's just not comfortable doing, and then expecting him to be a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. No, have him be EJ Manuel or RG3. Now we might not need a the RG3 because we have an EJ Manuel, but as far as this system, in this system, we need an offensive line and an accurate quarterback.
Absolutely.
And as of right now, we don't have that. So it's either we need to, change this coaching staff to fit our players, like a Chan Gailey did. Because people forget our offensive line with Chan Gailey was worse than what we have now. But he knew that, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to run a billion screens. I'm going to get, my players in space, and I'm going to make players out of no names. And he got the ball out quick, and he was able to have a very successful offense. It just sucks that at that particular time, our defense was horrible. So it's just like, we wasted a good offense because our defense was bad, and this year it's opposite. But as far as RG3, I wouldn't want him here in this system.
Right. I agree. And, I think, like you said, I think Jay Gruden's using him wrong.
He's using him wrong. Yep.
In my opinion, I've said it to a lot of my Redskins fans friends around here, including my fiance. I feel like they should let him bulk up 10, 15 pounds. Well, she's a Redskins fan, but she hopped on the bandwagon. I told her there's room on there for her.
Okay. Hey,
we'll
take it. We'll take it.
I think that if you bulked up RG3 about 15, 20 pounds and put him out wide as a wide receiver or ran him as a hybrid running back, I think that would be ridiculous.
That would be the craziest thing ever. But hey,
I think he would be extremely successful as a hybrid. He could be a quarterback, wide receiver, running back. You don't know what he's going to do.
He is playing good in Jacksonville, as
right.
But will RG3 want to change positions? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But
not after,
he might be a Tebow.
The money he got. Right.
True,
exactly right.
But he might be a Tebow. If you don't change positions, you might be out of the league. So, he might have no other choice. But just to go back real quick to the coaching staff, I know it's probably not a popular thing to say, especially after a win. It's probably something that we should probably bring back up after the season. But I know you're a fan of Doug Marrone, or you're a fan. Well, yeah, you're a fan of Doug Marrone.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure of the entire coaching staff,
right?
On offense, but I just not saying that I'm an Eagles fan, but I envy that style of offense because I see what we have, and I'm like, man, if we can just use all this speed we have, we'll be dangerous, man. Yeah. Because Doug Willie drafted speed. He drafted downfield, playmaking ability. But we're using our offense like a Cincinnati because, it's just we need to I really can't say it enough. We need to utilize our playmakers, and it seems like, Chip Kelly or that style of offense fits our players better because I see, Baylor, TCU, West Virginia. I know those are college coaches, but I would pounce on a Art Browse from Baylor, who's had the #1 offense in college for the last 4 to 5 years. And I know with this defense, we cannot continue to waste this defense because who knows? Next year, we might be really thin. Is Jerry Hughes going to resign? We have to, resign, Darius. Mario's getting older. We just can't waste it. And with how our offense is playing this year, I just don't know that, we can continue going this route.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're 100% right. But I
Yeah,
also
but
think, sometimes, like they were saying it earlier, sometimes a good defense can mask a bad offense.
that's
And
true. That's true.
sometimes playing a bad team can mask a bad offense. I think, we'll move on to, Oakland this coming weekend. I think that, Oakland's a good team. Derek Carr is better than most people have given him credit for.
I'm a
They've
huge
just
Derek
lost
Carr
a
fan.
couple games. Yeah, Derek Carr's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think that the fans aren't into it, and I think a lot of the players aren't even into it right now. And, they got lucky when they beat the 49ers, but they play them twice a year, so they don't play them twice a year, but, they wanted to beat them, and they
Yeah.
had a plan for them. So I think that we should go in there and handle them pretty easily. I don't think this is going to be a trap game. I don't think the Bills are going to look ahead to the Patriots. I think they're kind of done with that whole trap game mentality of let's move on to the next opponent after this one. And I think
Yeah.
that the Bills are hungry. I think that, we're going to go out there and we're going to show everybody that we're for real. I mean, hanging in there with the Broncos and only losing by a touchdown and then beating the Packers by 8 points, I think that's pretty impressive, and that speaks for itself. And I do believe, like I've been posting on the Fanatics page every week, I still believe, and I think this is our time. And I think that, the offense, again, is just going to do enough to win the game, and the defense is going to be the main reason why we win. But, Oakland's defense is pretty crappy, so we should be able to have a field day against them.
Yeah.
But, again, who knows?
We're going to see Khalil Mack for the first time.
Right. So, I
So,
think that.
who knows?
Right. But I think that we've got enough momentum, to carry us into the playoffs. And like you said, right now nobody really wants to play us. So instilling that fear and just going out and performing, I think is going to get the job done. I think that, my prediction for this game, I think the Raiders will be lucky to score 10 points on us. I'm going to say we're going to handle them probably 31-3. I don't like to sound optimistic
Wow.
about that, but they're a worse team than the Jets, and we handled the Jets easy twice. So that's my prediction.
Yeah. It's. I know it really hasn't been the case entirely this season, but it always does seem like we play down to our competition. We are playing them away from home, where we kind of really excelled playing away from home this year. I just think that this could easily be a trap game, because like me personally, I'm telling myself, we're going to beat the Raiders, so it's on to the Patriots for me. And I just, you know what I mean? I just wish that our players understand that, listen, the only way that we make the playoffs is that we have to win out. So, they might see that the Raiders lost, 31-6 today, and they probably feel that, what, we can easily beat them. But it's like you said, Derek Carr is a very solid, or will be a very solid quarterback in this league. They have no receivers, so their offense is
limited.
Is probably worse than ours. But they do have players on defense. I will give them that. They have some named players. So, as a prediction, I don't know. Their offense playing how it has been playing, I would probably say that, we'll be lucky to maybe, score, 20 points. So, I'll say that our defense is going to dominate like they do every week. So, I'm probably there with you. They'll be lucky for them to, score 10 points. But if they were to score points, I'll probably say that all they score is 10. So I'll probably say there'll be 20-10 Bills.
A little closer than
That'll probably be my prediction.
Okay. All right.
I think it'll be a little bit closer than what people may think.
I could see that. Traveling to the West Coast is never easy for an East Coast team.
Exactly. So, but at the same time, though, I mean, we have the possibility of putting up 50.
Absolutely.
But it's just, are we going to play like we played versus the Chiefs, where we could have easily won that game, that game, or are we going to play like we played against the Jets? What Bills on offense is going to show up, and that right now is a question that I just can't answer.
Absolutely. I think I don't know. I feel like Marone's gonna give them a pretty good pep talk. Just let them know what their chances are.
I hope so.
I'm sure they will know. I've been watching the post-game speeches that he gives, and it's not very motivational. But from what I've been watching on pre-games, Fred Jackson gets the team pretty fired up. So I think if we can all rally around Fred, I think this guy's.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you off, Alex. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we didn't even talk about Fred Jackson, man. Fred Jackson was manimal today. I mean, he was balling out of his mind today. I mean, the runs that he was having, where he was breaking tackles, having all those yards after contact, was huge. I feel like on offense, he was hands down our MVP.
Oh, absolutely. Fred is the heart and soul of the Bills. And if anyone questions that, they're out of their mind. Fred's hungry, and he wants to bring the team with him because he knows his time's limited. He knows he doesn't have much time left.
Yeah,
that's true. I feel like at this point in his career, he's going to finish off as a Bill. He's probably going to go the Tiki route and just kind of fade off into retirement, but Tiki went out on top. So
yeah,
we can do the same thing for Fred.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, Tiki almost went out on top.
But,
he almost did because
he retired.
I believe he retired the year. Yeah.
He didn't retire after 4 years of rushing for 100 yards, and he retired still in his prime. Well, he did the right thing.
Yeah, true. I see what you mean. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I didn't mean.
It sucks for him that he retired the year before he ended up winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I know he was probably mad about that.
Oh yeah. But I think that's pretty much it. I think we got a lot to look forward to next week and this season. And as I've been saying all year, it's nice to finally have meaningful football around the holidays for the Bills.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. Man, this is a great concept for a show. To be honest with you, circle with the Wagons. Who knows? I mean, we're going to be on every week. I know I talk a lot. I tend to ramble a bit, but hey, I mean, if anyone who's watching this, if you want to join us in our Bills Fanatics group, all you have to do is go to www.joinus.billsfanaticsbf.com. You can chat with all 11,000 plus of us, and hey, on to next week, on to the Raiders, Alex.
Absolutely, and we'd love to have anybody out there watching that would love to join us on the webcast. You're more than welcome to. We'll post a link every week when we get ready to start the show. We want to take this thing as nationally as possible, and hopefully we can get some players to come on the show with us. But we can't do that without your help, so please share the link. Feel free to participate, and like Pierre said, on to the Raiders, and let's keep circling those wagons.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Buffalo.
All right, Pierre. I'll talk to you next week, buddy.
All right, bud.
All right, bye.